Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Fake Newswatch, where Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has been identified as the imaginary man who intimidated this porn star,
money or love. I'm gonna have to be a realist here and I'm gonna have to say money,
into silence on her relationship with Donald Trump. Nah, I'm just kidding, it's Willem Dafoe. Nah, I'm just kidding, it's Bon Jovi. Nah, I'm just kidding, it turns out it's her husband Brendan Miller.
Donald Trump responding to the sketch this morning, tweeting. This is what he tweeted. A sketch years later about a non-existent man, a total con job, playing the fake news media for fools.
Hey, wait a minute. Why did you edit that part out?
Looks like another narrative conflict for ABC.
Why am I not surprised?
The president gets 2 scoops.
Small black hole would suck in our entire universe.
Interesting, that dog is barking. Do we even know who is this 4chan?
Watch what you watch. Better watch because they watch. Watch what you watch.
So, after the FBI broke into Trump's attorney Michael Cohen's office last week, CNN aired this segment detailing who Michael Cohen was, all together with eerie music that would better be found in a low-budget spy thriller.
During the campaign, when Trump said he had no contact with Russia, Cohen was privately trying to cut a deal for a Trump Tower in Moscow. It never happened, but Mueller has asked about it. Cohen's name was also in the infamous dossier, which alleges he traveled to Prague to meet with Russians. He's completely denied it and is suing BuzzFeed, which published it.
Wait a minute, man. Do you remember why Cohen refutes these allegations, CNN? Oh yeah, it's because he's never been to Prague before and was touring colleges in South California during the time of this alleged meeting. But, you know, you already told us this and then alleged it was a different Michael Cohen.
Out there, because in this uncorroborated report, it talks about Michael Cohen, Trump's official corporate lawyer, making a trip to the Czech Republic. My reporting suggests that people did try to run that down. They did. And they concluded that it was a different Michael Cohen.
And also during CNN's faking news of the FBI raid, the New York governor's retarded little brother,
it's illegal to possess these stolen documents.
Assured us that Bob Mueller's Russia investigation was totally unbiased and made up of about 50-50 Republicans and Democrats.
You also have to call this what it is. This is the politics of distraction. Mueller's team has some type of breakdown of Democrat and Republican. It's about 50-50. We're told that Mueller did that intentionally because he thought he'd be identified as a Republican. He wanted some kind of diversity on his team.
In fact, the Daily Caller investigated this and found back in February that there were, in fact, no Republicans on Bob Mueller's legal team, a claim that is supported by the left-leaning fact-checker PolitiFact. The media really want to focus on the Michael Cohen raid. Hell, this week they try to make a scandal out of the fact that Sean Hannity used the same lawyer as Trump in the past. So much so that MSNBC's Chris Matthews suggested that Trump's bombing of Syria was an attempt to distract from the investigation.
A president in fiction decided to start a little war to cover up for a hanky-panky.
And then the rest of MSNBC, of course, just went with it, invoking the comedy film from the 90s, Wag the Dog, in which a Hollywood producer fabricates a war to distract from a presidential scandal back home.
And he may be trying to distract from his political problems.
It's called the Wag the Dog phenomenon.
It's like the movie Wag the Dog.
Yeah. There may have been a political element for this president based on the trouble he faces domestically.
An attack on Syria.
Oh, you mean the Wag the Dog end of it?
If the president might be perceived to have a wag the dog problem.
Well, whether it's wag the dog or not.
Even Lawrence O'Donnell brought on an expert to explain the attack on Syria. And no, this wasn't anyone with an academic, military, or political background. It was a movie director. The very same one behind the movie, Wag the Dog.
And little did you know when you were doing Wag the Dog, how easy it would actually be.
Stop the hammering!
Hammer time!
Regardless of how you feel about whether the bombing was justified or not, there is no way in hell a president would get away with exhausting over $100 million of weaponry just to distract from a minor domestic scandal. Moreover, There's no way that two foreign allies, one of which didn't even go to Iraq with Bush, would also participate in the strike. You know, Alex Jones is making more sense than you guys at the moment. And you gotta hand it to Alex, he's taking a principled stand against Trump's intervention. Alex Jones has always been against the neocons. His theory that Trump attacked Assad because of pressure from the deep state or neocons inside the US government makes far more sense than embarking on an allied assault to distract from a small scandal back home. That face when MSNBC has less credibility than InfoWars. Fresh off falsely claiming that legally two parties in a phone conversation must consent to being recorded.
Michael Cohen will be in big trouble if he has those tapes because you need a two-party approval to do it.
Well, in New York, from my understanding, you only need one party.
He says you need two.
Chris Matthews went on to repeat the debunked claim that Michael Cohen traveled to Prague to meet the KGB.
Actually, news service reported, according to two anonymous sources familiar with the matter, that Robert Mueller has evidence that Cohen secretly made a late summer trip to Prague in the Czech Republic.
Thus far, we haven't seen any public evidence that this is true. McClatchy didn't report that he went to Prague. They just reported that Mueller may have some evidence that he did. If he had gone to Prague, of course, it would be incredibly consequential, but we don't know that yet.
What do you mean, some evidence that he was there? What is that?
I'm not sure. That's how McClatchy characterized.
Kinda makes you wonder which Chris Matthews is suffering from CTE. So let's close out with this. It's kinda interesting how the whole anti-gun protest movement that was meant to be grassroots just died out very quickly. Like, that was getting nationwide coverage only a couple weeks ago, and now it's like it never happened. Well, anyway, we have Joy Reid of MSNBC's sequel to the Killer Mike spurg out, in which she employs her guest, Neblet. I guess he kinda does look like a Neblet. To make false assertions about the NRA for her. One such false statement being that the NRA was founded in the 1960s in response to the Black Panther movement.
Right? Where is the NRA for black and brown people? It starts as a reaction to the Black Panthers, as you note.
Yep.
That's nearly 100 years off. Like, it fucking says it on their logo. Neblet also claims that the NRA uses blacks as boogeymen to scare people into buying guns.
And we know that the NRA is consistently using black men as a boogeyman to motivate gun sales.
Where have I heard that one before? And then oddly suggests that those two black guys who were arrested in Starbucks recently for refusing to buy something before using the store's facilities were killed by the police.
And the whole notion that these men in Starbucks would have survived if they had guns, that's absurd.
What? That's a pretty big fucking thing to get wrong. Like, they were arrested. They weren't killed by the police. Hey, you kinda look familiar, ain't you?
A man at a pro-healthcare reform rally just outside wore a semi-automatic assault rifle on his shoulder and a pistol on his hip.
The black man becoming president, and we see these hate groups rising up, and this is definitely part of that. I'm not going to be surprised if we see somebody get a chance and take a chance and really try to hurt him.
Yeah, that's right. You're a fucking cunt. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you're new here and you want to see more of this content, be sure to subscribe. Also consider supporting this channel on Patreon or donating a few crypto shekels. Links to everything, including social media, can be found in the description below.